Welcome to Gran Turismo 7. We've got kind of a big race here. This is GT7 Season 2026, Round 5, Do or Die. I gotta get zoned in, focused in, because the last race went really poorly. And that's too bad, because last year, if I recall, for the season, I finished second. Remy and I had a tiebreaker because we were both second or third. So we got to have that tiebreaker. And if I recall, we finished second for the season. One way or another, it was podium. It was second or third, but it got tight. It was a good finish to the 2025 season. But this season, people have come back. They're smarter. They're more competitive. And the big difference is I've relied on old structures. And while they just don't work anymore because people are coming in, they're getting practice before the race. So what do? This is a bit of a survival guide, you could say. Let's just see who's in the race. Thus far, we've got Thor practicing. We've got Rocco, JCCR Sir Badger, JCCR Devious, Remy, Super Doofus, Kind Nick. Ooh, nice livery in front of us. Good Austin Martin, Goodyear, JCCR mix there. We've got Smokey the Bandit, followed by Cooper. Hey Cooper, what is up? And we've got Smokey and the Bandit there again. Rowiki, super fast A+ driver. We got JCCR, DK Nielsen, and Neighbor. Nielsen and Neighbor, oh, so very fast. They get a good amount of practice before the races, and that's what we need to do. I know the title is Do or Die, and I did that deliberately because it is the exact attitude or thinking you need to not have when you're taking on really any race. Because what we're really chasing is smoothness. Now, I'm going to take the Ford. I'm driving the 911. I'm going to take my Ford hat off because I am a pretty big Ford guy. Pretty excited that they're back in, more so in racing this year. So good morning, everyone. You're watching JCCR Racing, and I am JCCR Johnny, ready to take it to the track, give you a good run through of what I think is needed when we're taking on the track. Now, if you've got a play seat before every race, it's always good to get a lap of practice or two, because that's when you're going to realize, oh, well, it slid forward again. So my brake, I'm going to be not on with the pedals. So that's one major annoyance with the play seat. The rest is pretty darn great. Hey, My Garage Customs, also known as Boston. Good morning to you as well. GLHF, good luck, handsome friend. Thank you, Daniel. And good luck to you as well. Let's get there we go. We got the steering online. And the car was giving us no gas there. So let's just see here. We'll go soft in the front, softs in the back. Now, two strategies for this race. We could run mediums and probably never pit if we run fuel mixture on level 6. So much less power, but no pit. Probably save a good solid minute not having to pit. Or we can go full gas, full power, pit once, get tires and gas. I think that's going to be my strategy here. Let's just see how the tires wear after a few laps here. So yeah, Do or Die is the title, and that is the exact attitude that gets us in, every driver, in a whole lot of trouble. When you're thinking, I absolutely have to pass the car in front of me, your focus and your visual focal point goes to the car in front of you, and instead of really focusing on the track and its lines, you're focusing and watching for an opening, assuming you're going to get the pass and slide by. And you just got to race the track. The smoother you are, the faster you'll be. So far, testing brake balance on 0. It feels good. Found out last night that if we go to -1 or -2, the rear end is in great control. But we kind of braked through. We locked up the brakes and slid right through some turns. Like, this is a big one. Easy to slide through. Crossover on the little rubber marks. Oh, right on. Chimp finished up his outbound calls so he can race. So you can watch the race. Thank you so much, Chimp. Thankfully, my dealership, I work at a dealership. I'm a Ford and Lincoln specialist, or maybe after 13 years, I can say expert. I also have the YouTube channel, Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, where we short-term and long-term review some vehicles, like the 2017 Shelby GT350 with that incredible 5.2-liter V8 engine that they call the Voodoo engine. Woo-wee! They call it the Voodoo engine. It is different from the other 5.2 liters that Ford offers because it has a flat plane crank engine. It is absolutely a race engine. And you want to avoid buying a 2015 or 2016 Shelby GT350, in my opinion, because I like to call them, Ford doesn't refer to it as Gen 1 or Gen 2, but I like to call it the Gen 1 because you need to watch oil consumption more, and also the oil filter. It is an oil filter that screws on. And make sure you get the Motorcraft one because it actually has Loctite on it. But if the person who changes your oil does not screw it on and torque it on, the engine vibrations are incredible. This 5.2-liter Voodoo engine is actually a race engine. And as a race engine, and because it's flat plane crank, it vibrates a lot. All flat plane crank engines vibrate a lot, including the Ferrari 458's flat plane crank naturally aspirated V8, just like Ford's naturally aspirated V8. But Gen 1 has an oil filter. If it's not torqued on, it can loosen up and leak oil or even fall right out. So that's where you get the fires and the blown engines on occasion for those that don't watch their oil level and get the oil filter put on properly. Or if you use a non-Motorcraft, the OEM oil filter, it probably won't have Loctite and it won't stay in place. So you want to go with the proper oil filter if you've got a 2015 or 2016. But come 2017, starting around January, February, those built after, you're pretty much guaranteed to have a canister oil filter. So it's going to be a black canister and a filter inside, like the Porsche 911. And that thing stays on. And then you're safe. And the 2015, 2016s have a tendency to, Ford says, you could be every 500 miles using up to a quart of oil. Now I drive about 2,500 kilometers, so about 1,400 miles, 1,600 miles every summer, and I don't lose any oil. So that's also part of the what I like to call Gen 2. No one, only insiders call it the Gen 2. Ford does not refer to it as Gen 2. And Seahawk Ronan, thank you for giving us the advice not to use 6th gear on the straights. That's going to come in handy in order to have faster laps. Great to have you in, Ronan. Thank you very much for making it. And always appreciate the car talk and track talk. So when you get to the 2017 Shelby GT350 5.2-liter engine, you've got a race engine. Literally, it is a race engine. It's not made to the specifications of your daily driver, so your daily driving V8, like the 5-liter from Ford, won't vibrate and doesn't have those potential issues. But do check your oil level. It should be fine if you have a 2017, but I'd say check it every tank or two of fuel. Just keep an eye on it. Those that don't consume oil probably never will, and those that do, more likely 2015, 2016, you just keep an eye on it. You add a little oil like most. That's just how race engines are. Ferrari, it's the same with their flat plane crank V8, but you get a red line of 8,250 RPM. All right, Forza Canada is like an absolute danger. So it's do or die in the series, and the reason it's do or die is because, well, so far in the series, I have not come in and practiced laps like I'm doing now. And I've also focused on positioning. You know, I got it in my head that I finished, I think it was 2nd last year for the championship, for the series, for the whole year. So I'm like, oh, I got to be at the top of that pack. I push too hard and I crash out. We got to keep it smooth and just race the track like we're doing right now. Not get on the throttle too early coming out of that turn, so they'll send us into the wall like last lap. But the good news is we got Super Doofus behind us, and it looks like our speed is decent enough. It's staying mostly behind us. And we've been racing with the 911 and sticking to the 911 no matter what track we take on. So we're being very faithful to the 911 here. There we go. That is racing like you want to keep someone behind you instead of racing the track. So prime example of the errors that come from do or die racing. If you'll allow. All right, Boston, thank you so much for making it in. Also, thank you, Daniel, for making it in. Crispy Precision Gaming, check out his YouTube channel. Give him some likes and subscribe if you already haven't done so. Ronan, thank you for making it in. Boston and Daniel again. DK Nielsen, good luck with the race. You don't need luck, you've got a ton of skill. Chimp, thank you so much for making it in and getting your morning calls out of the way so you can watch the race. Very much appreciated that you guys are here. Blessed to have you. Sir Badger, thank you for wishing me luck. I know you're a very skilled driver, so I don't need to wish you luck. I just need to wish that you apply your skill and knowledge consistently. And we're at 10:56. We got time for another little practice lap. 1:42 being the fastest lap. Let's see if we can get anywhere near that. Let's see. We locked up the brakes there on that one turn. Let's see if running 2 here is doable without having the rear end slide out under braking. So maybe having a little less stability with the car under braking, but more trail braking possibility. Like here, oh, perfect. There, that's the trail braking we needed. We need to be able to have the car slow down while still doing the turn. And if we've got too much braking on those front calipers, we won't get there. Now I'm also sporting the Ford hat because I'm gonna edit a little video today on various 2026 Mustangs that you can get in the GT finish. Hardtops, convertibles, the FX package, which is the box body package. Show you guys what you can do with all the gauges. You can have all sorts of different gauges. It's very cool. So I'd love it if when that video comes out on Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, you give it a like, you give it a watch, or even just let it play in the background. Really help out. Ooh, this is perfect with the +2. Thankfully, there's not too much elevation changes on this race. So +2 should be fine for the race. All right, we got some fast drivers here. Marciello putting down a dangerous 143.4. All right, so that's the line we need to get on the last turn that we've been missing. And we, as Ronan mentioned, we got to keep it out of 6th gear. As tempting it is as it is, got to remember, rev out 5th like crazy, but not the other gears. Playing with no slippers so they don't get caught up in the play seats pole that goes down the middle, and also the base spacing of the pedals. My slippers, I need nice thin racing shoes, otherwise I'll just continue to play in socks. At least we get a good feel for the pedals. Thor running a 142 flat. Look at those pro times coming in. Hey, RSR Edward! It's Edward E. Mr. Speedy in the house. Hey, Mr. Speedy, how are you? Let us know how you're finding this race and this week's racing. What have you been running? What car have you been enjoying lately? I'm really enjoying this 911. I feel it's a good car that I can play manufacturer style racing, that I can just sign up for a season and just have good results across all races. Now the Nissan GTR is another one that's really good at that. It is a good go-everywhere car. Same thing for the McLaren. The Ferrari, it's a little unstable on certain races, but the 458, the new 296, the 296 Ferrari is a great car wherever you take it. Say it has a slight advantage over the 911, but the 911 is a great car wherever you take it as well, and is a winner on a few races. But the 296, I'd say, is the best car overall. You take its average across each track. Let's see if we can get a time that's consistent. We need to be running consistent 143, 144s here. Let's see if we can get at least one 144. Hey, Dano, the Texas Ranger himself, thank you for coming in and taking the time to wish me luck. Much appreciated. So whatever race you're taking on, there's two ways to run the race. No practice and push to pass and kind of try to beat your way up the top of the grid. Not really a classy way of racing, and definitely not realistic or containing any sportsmanship. Or the proper way, race the car like you actually own it in the real world and don't want to go to jail in the real world. So drive it like an actual sim racer. Get some practice in. Don't have that do or die attitude. Even though points-wise, I need to place well today, or it is kind of do or die. Not the whole season won't be completely scrapped, but it's starting to get there. All right, so we know the track. We just haven't learned how to maximize each turn. At least we got the last turn under our belt. Yeah, morning brothers, good to have you in the chat. I've got the JCCR Racing pit crew here to help me out. Ronan reminding me not to put it in 6 on the straights, and I am open to all other tips to get faster. Definitely happy we practiced the last, maybe 13 minutes, 15 minutes. Because that was much needed. Otherwise, that would have been like last night, hitting the wall almost every lap. And we found our brake balance happy spot. Great to have Dano and Edward in the house. Daniel, Seahawk, Ronan, RSR Edward. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to everyone, Chimp, for making it in. No one makes it in, I feel like a chump. But when Chimp makes it in, I feel like a champ. Sorry, I'm just impressed by English language. You can have one letter apart and all sorts of different meanings. And then you've got the French language where you can have just an insane amount of words that all sound the same, but are either spelt differently or just have like the same letter but a little hat off the letter, and then it just completely changes the word and meaning. So you really got to know how those little directions over letters, not the consonants but the vowels. All right, if we can follow, Sursurek is incredibly fast. I'm surprised he's not in the Pro League, but if we can follow him and learn the track, we will be in a good position. All right, so I got to get the radar on. Normally you don't, normally you want to have a little bit of spacing for your qualifying lap so there's no accidental hits and you pooch your lap time. So let's call this our hot lap now. we go. Try to straighten out the track as much as possible. Take the straightest line through, meaning we're going to go from the complete outside here to the apex. Dano, the Texas Ranger, spent a lot of time the last year showing me how to drive different turns on different tracks. Very much appreciated. Super Doofus. Today's race sponsored by Super Doofus, our general manager of the JCCR racing team. He set up the race, he set up the rules, and I think he's got a really great race in store for us. We've got, 18 laps. The choice to run softs or mediums. You maybe get through with no gas refill if you put your air to fuel ratios up to 6, so it means less power. Or you can do 1 pit. Soft tires should last about 8 to 10 laps, depending how you drive them. All right, so not too much kick coming off the turns either. I think +2 is going to work for us. We found our happy balance here. Let's see what kind of time we can put down. We know darn well we need a 1:42 probably to be competitive, but at least we've shaved 2 seconds off our time with our 13 to 15 minutes of practice. Ooh, that was a quick one around that turn. So this might bring us down into should bring us, if we get the rest of the track right, into the 145s. Missed the apex there, so that'll cost us a bit of time. Still room to learn and grow, definitely on this track. Ooh, second required, I guess, for the rotation there. Just got to get back to the racing basics. And the racing basics, pretty simple. Go from the complete outside of the track. Brake early enough so you can get to the right speed, so you can catch the apex. And when you get to the middle of the apex, just get back down on that throttle. Some turns, if you're too hard on the throttle, you're going to spin it out. I like to keep the brake balance at +2 for this track. And the stability control on 2, so that way if I am hard on the throttle coming out of turns, I won't spin myself out. Oh, it's too bad. This was going to be a quick one. We're having an excellent lap there. And I guess we'll get 2 more tries on picking up a good lap time here. All right, we got Devious with enough time ahead of us. Ooh. Marciello running a 1:44.2. Very fast amateur time, so that's a good solid time. But Neighbor running a 1:42.8. Neighbor is, I'd say he's usually pro speed on most of these, and that's why I called this title Do or Die. Either need to start getting pro times for these laps, or give up the hopes of finishing podium for the 2026 championship season. We got to just focus on racing the track, not focusing on just the cars in front of us. Consistency is king, making it to all the races during the championship season here. And if we can be middle of the pack but make it to every single race, we got a chance to points-wise to finish pretty well, pretty decently. This is sort of our key to last season: make every race. You only missed 2, and usually being middle of the pack. for finishing standings and consistent driving, avoiding accidents, can definitely move us up the pack, because the only way we're going to compete here with RSR neighbors if he crashes out big and I don't. Because that's huge. 3 seconds faster per lap. Let's see if we can get this down. We just did a 145.6. Let's last hot lap to try here. Let's get it down to a 1 into the 144 zone. There, trail braking, helping us to get a little bit closer to that apex and get onto the correct line. That's why I like running the +2 when possible. Tracks with a lot of elevation changes, especially if you're going to be braking while going downhill, that back end on the mid-engines is just going to slide right out on you unless you got more front brakes than rear brakes. And today, in the real world, some sim racing knowledge helped save myself and family. Went out for Valentine's Day breakfast and we're saved from an accident because there's someone just barreling down the road with all refusal to actually slow down. And very oddly, I had to hit the throttle pretty hard, slide out the back end. Good thing the truck was in 2x4 mode and not 4x4 mode. So we slid out the back end and it avoided getting T-boned because he was going to hit the back of the truck. We slid out the back end and saved ourselves from getting hit by someone who's just like, you know what, I'm going down the road at 50 or 60. The light had just, it was finally our chance to get onto the road coming out of the restaurant. And he had plenty of time to, he saw us coming across, plenty of time to slow down, but no. He was going through life saying, I've got my racing line, my goals, and if anyone gets in my way, I'm just going to plow right through them. So he was going to spear us into another stratosphere. Some people that live in the real world like that, it is not that productive as a way to go through life. Because then everyone around you either adjusts or you just end up with having criminal records. Because you hit people like that more than once and the police start asking questions. No one messed up my lap, don't worry at all. I went a little off track because I heard you off to the side and I was worried I was going to get hit. So I drove a little differently, but it didn't cause me to crash. So no harm, no foul. And what are we going to bring it in here with? Let's hopefully be into the 145s at least. Yeah, that's a section I need to get a lot faster through. It's a weak point. In racing, just like in life, it's so important to find your weak points and your strong points and learn to be honest with yourself so that you can spot where you need to learn and grow. Doesn't do us any good to just lie to ourselves. Come on, let's go, bring it in, bring it in. Oof. Almost quicker, but not quite. And we've already lost distance here that we need on the rig. Little downside to the play seat here. Oh, there. Whew, put some muscle into that. If it moves, then we can certify that we got 1 point of bad design on the chair. Otherwise, great chair. Fantastic price for what we get. You'd think just the seat would be the price of the whole kit. And it's nonetheless comfortable. We're good for racing here for 2.5 hours. Well, we got Cooper_JCCR. So Cooper's here. Super Doofus is here. Oh, his safety rating went down. Must have been getting a lot of bumps in the C League. All right, Unclaregen GT saying, don't estimate me. Okay, I will not. Well, the game estimates you, though, because they give you a driver rating for your speed and a safety rating, so they're definitely estimating you. They're not just estimating, they're giving a conclusion on your overall driving. Oh, Forza Canada, B driver, but with an A safety. I bet if that safety was at S, there'd be more consistent wins, and he'd be an A driver, because I really do feel that he's A driver speed. Both Forza and RSR, I feel, are, maybe it's just a matter of being more, some races I think they're like A plus, other races A, and maybe on a few races they're running more like C, and that's why they averaged out to a B speed. But RSR Neighbor, unbelievably fast. Same thing with Forza Canada, like such quick drivers. Sarah Sarik is another I just can't get anywhere close to. So we've got officially the slowest time. So let's find out if the slowest racer can not finish in last. So we'll focus on, one, continuing to be open-minded, knowing that we need to learn and grow. We're going to learn and grow throughout the track. We're going to do minor adjustments, no major adjustments. We're not going to all of a sudden go to -5 on the brake balance or play around with the strategy. And we're going to drive safe and smart and try to focus on being smooth. So it is really hard. Oh, re-enter. Thank you very much. Super Doofus. Let's just make sure the right tires are on. We got our softs on. We can re-enter. And I guess the race is going to be starting. Thank you so much for everyone who's made it in. Ronan, thank you for sticking through from the beginning until now, and probably to the end, I would think. Sir Badger, thank you so much. Good luck in the race as well. You just need to apply that skill you already have and stay consistent. That's what we're going to try to do. We got less skill, less knowledge, but if we can be safe, smart, and consistent, the two S's, safe and smooth, this should go quite well. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. That's what Chimp is saying. I'm going to copy that. Hey, we got the JCCR fam in the house. A whole lot of love here. And we've got Wes ID Racing, or West Side Racing, if we want to say it the way it was meant to be said. Oh, Porsche, trying to force everyone to call it Porsche. You got their Porsche snobs that if you say Porsche, they're like, if you say Porsche, like, it's Porsche. But yeah, it's how the Germans say it apparently, Porsche. So I guess we have to copy the Germans. And we've got RSR Edward, Daniel, Chimp Seahawk, which is Ronan, Sir Badger, Boston, which you'll see it as my Garage Custom, but that's our very own Boston. We got DK Nielsen over in VR. Fantastic, folks. You can check out DK Nielsen in VR, I believe, on YouTube. We've got quite a few YouTube channels. You can check out Crispy Precision Gaming. Yo, my man. Check him out as well. I think it's great when we check each other's channels out. Oh, now we re-enter again. All right. So let's see where we're going to be starting here. Oh, thank you so much, Dano, for reminding me to re-enter. Let's see, we've got 13 racers. Dano, if they start, he won't be in the race. I don't think that's much of a danger there. All right, so yeah, we're back starting in 12th. Yeah, I had the slowest lap time, but that doesn't mean we're out. This is either going to be a learning experience of this track, and in the meantime, while this gets set up, we definitely can use more practice. We didn't have any slide outs, so I think +2, we're perfect. I think if we go to +3, we're going to be pushing it. Go from apex to apex. Take it like we're skiers going down the hill. Going from gate to gate, or those poles. Oh, missed the apex, but we made it through just the same. There we go. We need to glue that apex for a much longer period of time than we're... I turned up the torque to 8, finding out that I don't want to run it on 10 all the time because I don't want to overwork the system because it is double belt driven. But I'm finding this 6 newton meters of torque when running at 8 is just the right amount. I don't want a whole lot more power than that. I don't want it to rip my hand, sprain my wrist, or slap me so hard on the thumb that it gives me a fracture. I've used a unit that goes up to 28 newton meters on my friend's computer, and that was just wildly too much. I think he had it set at about 15 newton meters, and already when I hit the wall, I hurt. I had a light sprain in the wrist. Let's go, team. Good luck, everybody. Ooh. Sorry, Cooper, I just gave you the nitrous boost, but at least it was in a nice safe spot. So I just gave you, I passed my speed on to you. A little momentum transfer there. Remember, I'm trying to get the apexes as much as possible, but I have to remember if someone is also going towards the apex, but later, I need to know when to slow down. And that's one thing I haven't learned yet, is when to just give up the apex. Like here, I'm going to give it up. He's ahead. Marciello was definitely ahead there. So, tuck behind him, give him the line. Because the front bumper of my car was like at most at his back wheel, so it's like, no, he definitely got to this turn before I did. Oh, he's coming through on the lawn for the pass. Oh, just kept it in there. Missed the apex by a mile, but there was a lot of competition to grab that apex, so at least there I didn't cause any bumps. Alright, Ronan's trick being utilized here, not putting in the 6th, and proving that it's working quite well for me. Oof, lots of crashes. Lots of accidental chaos on the track today, but it's that kind of track. It's a track that will lead to collisions. All right, so we've gone from complete last with our slowest lap time, but we've avoided collisions. We've robbed a few apexes, like we just completely robbed that apex, stole it away, snuck in like a little rat. I hope it's legal. I hope it's acceptable. I know it was clean. We didn't have contact. Contact was definitely... Oh no! Gotta let go of the brakes at some point and hope for the best there. At some point you let go of the brakes and pray for the best. All right, we're staring down podium here at the start of the race. A nice climb just from safe, smooth, mostly smooth, safe and 70% smooth racing. We just had one light contact as I was all over, maybe a little too aggressive on one apex. Forza Canada running a very healthy, impressive 143.1. Well done, Forza, on that lap time. Solid performance. And that's a 143.1 when there's all sorts of cars, traffic, and everything around. Oh, maybe less so for Forza. He's up in first. Good job, Forza. Oh, we missed the apex, so we took the long way around that turn, but it's still enough for the moment. Oh no, the gap is closing. Competition is coming up quick on us here. but I'm feeling great about this race, even if we don't stay in fourth. Love the fact that we came in from the absolute bottom, the back of the pack, and we're able to climb up in fourth just by avoiding any hard altercations with any other cars. But this is definitely a track where altercations happen even when you're trying your best to not have them happen. Collisions are inevitable. There's no off-track zone. Consistency is putting us in the third. We've come from the bottom and we've made it up to podium. Podium position. If we can just stay off the grass, not mow the grass, we'll leave that to the groundskeeping and to the GTRs because they can handle the grass. The mid-engines are horrible out on the grass. The Lambo, I think, being the worst of them all. Definitely helps that we've got the seat no longer moving. We can actually gauge, learn, and figure out where the positioning is for some trail braking. Oh, we went into sixth, so mistake there. Gotta follow Ronan's advice. There, we gotta hit the gas as soon as we hit the middle of the apex, even though it looks like we're just gonna drive right and off track into the sand. It's the pedal of faith that's required. Oh no! We just got hit by Sir Rick. That was a little rough, Sir Rick. That was a little too aggressive there. You hit us completely off our line. We just got a little mini spear, but we didn't go into another stratosphere, so it's a mini spear. That was definite. I think that was a hard push to pass, but I don't have enough race knowledge to know whether that was a clean pass, or just an aggressive pass, or just a not admissible pass altogether. It felt unadmissible, but we'll gladly take it and just keep on racing. In life, you spend your time playing the victim, you won't have any time to win. Okay, so a little over rotation coming off there. I think I wasn't feeling it when we're at minus, minus 1 or 2. So I think that would be resolved if we played around with our brake balance, and I think that's going to get worse as these soft tires use. So ideally, I think we'd actually slowly scale back our brake balance, ideally, but I haven't practiced this track really on much anything other than +2. So it might not be the best overall result for my level of skill as an amateur racer. So as an amateur racer, your best bet is just consistency, not listening to the pros telling you turn traction control completely off, turn everything off because you'll be faster. Yeah, the day you don't make any regular mistakes, but I think being amateur racers, this is what we do. We make mistakes, or we don't have the perfect muscle memory formed yet. And like in racing, if you get hung up on what happens to you, you're no longer in the present moment, you're not maximizing your time, you're not being efficient with your time, because the only time we have control over is the present. So you just gotta roll the punches, dust your feet off, and get back into it. I got a bit of these things happen, just gotta get right back onto it. Yeah, gotta hit the gas while we're looking at the sand trap there, not be afraid to put our balls into the sand trap. and just give it a good hit on the throttle and try to soar past. Ooh, that's nice. If we accelerate in 2, there's no rear end wobble. And when you got stability control on absolute 0, it's what you need to do to avoid sliding out. Some huge windmills requiring all sorts of oil to build, all sorts of oil to lubricate and keep them spinning. And in the process, we'll take out more than a few birds in their lifetime. And not the best in areas that get winter, as they need to be de-iced. And not the best in areas that get tornadoes, because then they get wrecked. Those things need to be up, if I'm not mistaken, for a good 20 years to make back the energy that was required to make them in the first place. Alright, we're starting to get into a nice little beat here. Well, we've been in a nice beat from the beginning. I have to admit, getting pushed into the side of the vehicle like we did kind of throw me off. Oh, we've been hit and it takes us off the track. Come on, guys, we can do better than this. When you're behind, you're responsible for what's going on in front of you. If someone brakes early, you got to be ready to brake early with them. Can't be pushing each other off the track. Little paint trading is inevitable, but we can definitely avoid the punts. Alright, 7 laps, our tires are healthy. We can really split the tire life down in 2. Alright, as we take on race 5 in the 2026 championship season, it is do or die, but we need to not focus on that. Just got to race the track, work at being smooth. Just work on being smooth and focus on the track. Not just as soon as you start focusing on like, oh, I'm gonna pass this person on this turn, that's usually when you hit them. Or if you're clean, instead of hitting them like I did last night, the number of times I drove off track to avoid punting someone was quite often. Now, yeah, here's your point to pass, my friend. I'm going to go in and pit. We'll do our tires now, as we had a bad lap there. We got hit off track kind of twice there. So painful bit of a painful race. Got a little mini spear that had us lose, what was it, 3rd place, and got hit off track twice on just that lap, so not great. I guess we'll take the extra 2 seconds to make sure we got a full tank. Won't risk it. Won't risk the biscuit. Not want to be coming back in just for a little wee bit of gas. And you know what? We'll put ourselves more towards the back of the pack with our pit, so we don't have to worry about people being a little too eager to get into whether it's 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Hey, Pacific Rim, welcome back, buddy. Thank you for making it. I'm focusing, despite the title being do or die, I'm trying to remind everyone that you need to not have that attitude in your head. You need to not be telling yourself, I have to make this pass, because when you're telling yourself, oh, I have to make the pass, I'm going to make it here, and really pushing, you're either quite possibly going to hit the car in front of you and do a hard push to pass, or spear them, or you're going to mistime it because you're braking a little later, because you're, oh, I'm going to hit the pass, I'll brake later than them, and then I'll cut, and too often you end up off track, or just punting them off track. And when you punt someone off track, I think it's a good time to stop the car and wait for them. So Punish yourself as much as you punished them. Oh, you're in a car meeting. Okay, very cool. Is it like a car show? Is that what you mean by a car meeting? Like a cars and coffee? Let us know. Tell us about it, Pacific Rim. Or a car meeting like you work at a dealership and there's a meeting about various structures, rules, processes. Or just a good old typical sales meeting of, come on guys, sell more cars. Oh, you attended one with your car. Very, very cool. I call them car shows. All right, we're behind our buddy Daniel here. Good luck. And more importantly than good luck, may the speed be with you. Oh, we both went through there pretty nicely. Nice line, Daniel. Nice line. That is a line I'm happy to copy back here. Trying to catch up. The Viper is fast. I like the handling, the turn in on the 911. The Viper sure is a fast car. Great choice. Ooh, over rev there. That'll cost us. Something about Pacific Rim telling us something about a Bugatti. Don't tell me you've got a Bugatti. That's wild. Ah! Alright, I'm going to need to pass Daniel on the straights. So that means I need to get behind, have a bit of gap. I'm not going to try to pass in the turn again. Here we go. Try to get a bit of safe distance. Perfect. 1 second. Perfect safe distance. Cooper still needs to go into the pits. A lot of people, I think, still need to go into the pits. I'm not too worried about our current positioning. We were in third for a while. Just need to get to a point in the race where we don't have anyone that's in a position to hit us off track or spear us. Do a little spear to pass and just drive. Let other people make, I am the slowest lap time here, but if other people make enough mistakes kind of battling it out with each other, and I can just avoid everybody, my 2 seconds slower time, 2-3 seconds slower time per lap won't matter. We'll just safe, smooth race back to the top, because we did go from last to third. Yeah, the 2 races I missed last season, I was kind of upset about too as well, because I'm like, my goodness. Because originally I tied for points with Remy, was put in third, and then we raced it out so that I officially finished in second from my recollection. I got lucky. I think Remy had one mistake, like one off-track error, and I was just slower, but luckily didn't do an off-track error. So slower but more consistent, and I won second that way. I believe it was second. If I'm wrong, do correct me, folks, because I'm nowhere near that 142.2 that Forza is running here. Oh, the car meeting was well worth it. Fantastic. Right on. And we're going to go back at the end of this race and see what you brought to that car meeting, or if you want to just drop it, just the car. I am curious what you brought to the car meet. All right, we've got 10 watching. Hopefully we've got 10 likes. It really helps our channel grow. So if you haven't hit the like button, do help us out by hitting that like button. JCCR Ronan wishing us all a good race. Thank you so much, Ronan. Very classy of you. Oh, that's right, no fifth gear for this race. I do not know of one for sale. I saw a GT3 RS in blue go past the auction. Or is it? No, I think it's going to go actually past the auction this week. I don't know, if I had to guess Pacific Rim, I'm kind of hoping a Porsche. I absolutely love Porsches for their handling, their characteristics. Yes, it's only a 6-cylinder, but it's a really good 6-cylinder. They're repairable. I think they're great cars to own. I also really like Mustangs. I have a Mustang Shelby GT350 that I love. I also have a 911 and a Toyota MR2, but I really love my Shelby GT350. Okay, fantastic. Oh, that is incredible. A Porsche GT3 RS in Arctic Gray. Wow. The owner of the dealership was looking, kind of wanting to buy one, but then it's like, oh, well, if the price is right. But not a GT3 RS. He was looking at an S, but in that color, kind of like the Arctic Gray. Beautiful, beautiful car. That's wild what you've got there, Pacific Rim. Congratulations. That is a top pick. My 911 is a poor man's 911. It's a 1999 Guards Red convertible 911. I like it. It's light. It's small. It's very analog. We should have been top of third gear through there. Yeah, 300 grand. That is a US at that. That's wild, because here they sell usually between 400 and 550,000 Canadian. Whew. No, I don't have. I do like the 718 Spider. If I got a 718 Spider, I'd have to sell my Shelby GT350, and I'm not willing to give up the flat plane crank V8. I do prefer the handling, and I like the exotic styling of the 718 Spider. I did consider buying one end of season last year. I got 2 offers on my Shelby last year, and I refused them both. And what I was looking to maybe replace it with, thank goodness we had trail braking on 2, so brake balance to 2, because we were able to save ourselves with some trail braking there. Otherwise, we're going right off track. Oh, the 17 is loud, but it's not deep. The Shelby is both loud and incredibly deep sound. But that's true. I had never considered the fact that the 718 Spider might actually be loud and impressive nonetheless. It's a 2011 718 Spider. And it was still running like, I think, 100 and... Oh no, it was 80,000. It was the price I'd sell my Shelby for. Thank you very much, Bren. Yeah, the 911 is a true 1999. 911 is a true analog Porsche 911, and the Shelby GT350 is quite a beast. And it actually is a really great handling car. It is definitely a trackable Mustang, which usually those two things don't go in the same sentence, but it is an incredibly fast track car. Oh, trail braking, it saves us! Trail braking saved us all the way, and we've got the much faster RSR neighbor beside us. Oh, he's gonna cook us right here, but I'm gonna tuck behind him once he's past us, let him cut wind for us. He'll be our windbreaker. Oh, we did the perfect little tuck in right there. Oh, it's neighbor. It's French flag. our neighbor an extremely fast driver, so if we do what we're doing here, just tuck behind him and try to copy his brake points and acceleration points, we should be in business to get faster laptops and finally properly learn this track. Not just rely on consistency. Well, the plan was smooth, safe, consistent driving. It got us from last into third, but we got beaten up a little, got hit off track a couple times, and a little spear in a turn, and it did slow us down, caused us to kind of make it mostly almost back to the bottom of the pack again. So hard to climb when the other drivers are faster than you. All right, we got 4 laps left. 4 laps left. The time is coming down though. Glad 1:44.1. So I guess we needed an hour of practice, because now we're starting to have a proper amateur, a good amateur time. I'd argue the 1:42 is a decent pro time, but we'll see. Stay tuned. We're going to see in the Pro League what their lap times are, what the best. I have a feeling the best lap time is going to be a 1:40 flat, but a pretty middle of the pack is going to be a 1:42. I might be wrong about this, but I think middle of the pack for the Pro League is going to be about a 1:42, and very bottom of the Pro League maybe a 1:40, 1:43. But definitely improved by following Forza. That's what I love about our Monday to Friday lobbies, usually starting at 9:30. I go in from 9 to about 9:20 on average to run out a sport mode, racing against all sorts of randos and stranger dangers from around the world. The racing is chaotic, it is violent, but it does keep us practiced up on how to race when we've got dangerous, non-sportsman drivers around us. It's pretty exciting. Sometimes it's a bit of Call of Duty racing. And then we get into our super smooth, safe lobbies where everyone drives more like a professional driver. More like an actual sim racer, very much full-out sim racers. We don't spear each other, we don't punt each other, and it makes it some very fun races, but also maximize the learning, because we have to try to follow A+ drivers. We put the slowest drivers up top, so the fastest drivers will pass them, and they'll get to learn the track from them for at least a few turns before they smoke us. There we go, release the pedal as we got closer to that sandbox, and we avoided the sandbox, and we're back to racing quickly down the track here. Putting down some decent laps for the tires that we've got left on this. They're doing pretty good, but they're not quite as sticky as about 30 seconds after coming out on them. Alright, we're up to 12 watching. Thank you guys for making it on a Saturday. I know we usually play around 20 to 30 during the week. That's our regular time, and I really appreciate you taking a bit of your Saturday to come in, drop the live stream, whether you're watching this live or on, after, when it's no longer live. Really appreciate it if you can hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Those two things are going to indicate, and also if you share the video, it's going to indicate to YouTube that this isn't, foul content. It means it passes the smell test, the sniff test, and they will stop dogging us and will offer it to new people. And of course that means we've got a chance to pick up some new drivers, some new watchers. With more people comes bigger community, comes more knowledge, and with more knowledge comes more power. They'll share their knowledge, we'll share our positivity, show them that racing is about proper, clean sim racing. None of this Call of Duty garbage we see in the lobby, in the sport mode. and we can grow our sphere of positive influence. Also why I try to finish every video with some positive content to help everyone get through their days, or at least information that can start opening up their mind to not the dark side that we often get pushed in media, the various forms of media, but the light side. Open up some awareness to the benefits of positivity, counting one's blessings, going through life with a positive, kind mind and heart. Remember, generosity helps you as much as it helps the people you're being generous to. And yes, sometimes they don't appreciate it, but doing right is right on its own. Oh, we did make it through the top of third. Finally, we're starting to nail that turn. It's taken us an hour, but we're getting into the beat of this track. And I know Daniel is gonna be good to us if he catches up. I don't have to worry about Daniel hitting us off track. There we go, no tire squealing through the last turn. It should be go through there cleanly. Oh my goodness. Boston, my goodness. Thank you for sharing that with us. That is one of life's toughest things to go through. And to think some people have such smaller inconveniences and such smaller problems. Well, that's not an inconvenience, that's life-shattering. But a lot of people have just minor inconveniences and like, oh, my month is ruined. My day is ruined. We gotta see difficulties as challenges that we just have to learn to first adapt, first accept and deal with. You kind of have to accept it, mentally get past it, then find mechanisms to deal with it. Because what is done is done. You can't change what's in the past. RSR, I apologize. I think I traded paint with you there, and I think I scared you off. You let me pass there, probably because you thought my goal is to spear you into another stratosphere, and it isn't. I was just on full brake there, and no matter how much I braked, we did a little paint trade, so there's no need to let me through. I'm not going to cause you an off-track incident. Light paint trade, possibly. Oh, you might be running out of fuel. Oh, yes, because had I listened to the game, I'd have no fuel left. Because I didn't listen to the game, and I took almost an extra quarter of a tank and I have 0.9 laps. So that is wild. Anyone who listened to the game in regards to needed fuel is now running a much slower lap. A much more dangerous lap. Whew, okay. Fun race, great track, great racing with you all, and we made it to 21. Wow, we made it to our regular Monday to Friday. Generally always between 20 and 30, so we made it to 21. That's almost a quarter pounder. I do love hamburgers, yes, and hamburgers are really healthy. It's the bread that gets you. I know, because I got back on bread and I put on about 3 pounds just around my stomach from bread. No, I can't see my abs anymore. I think neighbor ran out of fuel, yeah. Oh, that's why he let us by. Oh, okay, and that's probably why he was going through the turn slower than, when I see its neighbor, I'm like, he's going to blow through the turn. I can, last minute, I can do the brakes at like the last minute, the actual, proper brake zone. But if he's running out of gas, he's not getting to that brake zone at the same speed. So, and he's not going to go through at the same speed because he's not able to push the car anymore. So yeah, gas really threw us off. We did raise 4 positions. I lost that 3rd position. I would have lost it anyways. Sir Surik is a much faster driver, but of course we're never thrilled when we get a hard push to pass, but these things happen. And we've got Dano saying GG, and Chimp saying GG everyone. Yes, absolutely GG. We've got the doggy celebratory. Folks, this is Lily. Lily, say hi, Lily. So this fantastic little poodle, and they're great. I used to have a big old German Shepherd, and before that, as a kid, I grew up with sled dogs. Sled dogs are great, but they they've got bigger tongues, so you really have to watch out. You can't really talk when they're trying to give you a kiss here. Unclerigen GT saying, I don't like this BM. Yeah, I find for me the BM is kind of touch and go. It's an amazing car if you're incredibly tuned to it, or you could say if you and the car are an incredibly well-oiled machine together, the BMW's so fast. But for me, until I get to that point, it is an off-track machine. It handles the off-track great, and good thing it does, because I go there pretty darn often. All right. Oh, fantastic. No worries. No worries at all, Daniel. That's no worries at all, mate. No worries at all. Just glad to get to race with everybody, including you. So happy to see you in the race, Daniel. Oh, and you did wait, Daniel. That is fantastic. It says no raise at all. It's supposed to say no worries, but no, Daniel, that was classy of you. Thank you so much for waiting. Very, very classy of you. Whew. All right, someone picked up a penalty on lap 2. Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know you could get. I didn't realize that penalties were on. And I love seeing this. People saying like, "Hey, sorry." Rawiki is absolutely a driver in JCCR Pro. He's one of the fastest drivers I have yet to encounter, and we've been doing lobbies for like a year. So, whew. Let's see. The results, Forza Canada with gold. Congratulations, Sir Badger with silver. Good racing, my friend. Fantastic positioning. And Smokey and the Bandit picking up third. Well done. Sir Sarek in fourth. Remy in fifth. Ooh, good job. Remy is kind of like my frenemy. More friend than enemy. And I like frenemies because frenemies have you challenge you, and they like get you to compete a little harder and practice a little more. And I can tell you at the end of last season, I was like, I gotta keep up with Remy and Marciello. Marciello, man, you've gotten really fast. So I'm behind these legends. And then we've got Daniel right behind me. We had very, very similar fastest lap times. But look at that, 142.4 by Forza. Man, you are quick. Cars go room is what DK Nielsen's got to say. Absolutely, they did go room. Hey, good afternoon, Bren. I salute you, my friend. Have a good luck. Yeah, representing the Lexus. Marciello, yeah, the whole setup I think here is great. I'm really thrilled. I'm debating whether I get direct drive because direct drive has its advantages and it also has its disadvantages. My friend with a 28 or 29 Newton meter system on his, I think it's a Fanatec, on the computer, it is better for this type of racing, but he said he can't rally race anymore. And on his old system, which was belt-driven, a really good belt-driven system, he was able to rally race. So something to keep in mind. We're still 21 watching, so let's just drop our end of video commentary here. Folks, don't forget to change your oil. I don't think it's going to make a big difference on your lap times, but I think it's good to do nonetheless. That was out of this world gaming. Thank you for the GG. It was a good game, fun game. I gotta stay away from other cars. We had a little bit of 2 off-track incidences from contacts. Remove those, and we're probably finishing about 5th. We need to finish about consistently 5th to 7th throughout the entire season to hope that our points overall get us top 3. Is kind of what we did mostly last season. It's how I think we finished, if I recall, in 2nd place for the season. Let's hit up the garage. Focus in on today's Saturday message. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, so call your moms. Tell them you love them. Treat your girlfriends or wives if you've got them. Help them feel special. Remind them that they're very important and special to you. And remember, lessons to learn from racing and applying that to the real world. don't give up just because you're not podium. Don't give up just because you're not the best, and don't not get involved in something. So you're like, oh, I'm never going to be able to get to become the best in this. Being the best is not what leads to, being the best can also lead to success, but often you'll never get to that success if you're just focused on being the best. Focus on the processes. Work on making yourself better at each of those, little processes. Because whatever activity or business you're taking on, you'd say the entirety of the hobby or sport or business, let's say it's this. But within that, let's say there's 1,000 different processes. Just focus in on each little process and work to get yourself and be the best you can be at each process. And then if you see within that process, you're like, okay, it's 10,000 hours to get just a tiny bit better, then it's time to move on to the next one, because you don't need to be 100% or perfect on each of those 1,000 steps. You just need to get to the 80 percentile on each of those steps, kind of be in the top 20 or 30%. But if you're in the top 20 or 30% across all that spectrum of processes, and you're consistent and you stick to it, well, most people are either never going to start because they figure I'm never going to be perfect at it. Many people will, focus on the first 10% and always stay there because they'll never leave that first 10% because they're waiting to become the best at that section of the overall thing. So overall, they end up having to give up because they're like, I'm not getting the results I need in order to continue doing this activity, sport, or business. But if you can get to the 70 or 80 percentile within all those processes, which is probably going to take you a few years, but you keep applying it, most people will have burnt out, quit out, financially been pushed out, fired if it's a job, injured if it's a sport, because or even certain physical work, because they focus too hard on getting perfect at that one little block or those 3-4 blocks. To just try to be decent, just try to pass at first every one of those blocks. And when you get to a certain point where you're like, I'm pretty good and consistent and confident here, move into the next block until you've gotten decent at the entirety of the thing. Do it over a period of time, slowly work to get a little bit better, a tiny bit better each day at those processes, and you're going to end up being in the top 5 or 10%. So you'll be successful at whatever you do. And don't give up just because you're not first. First can't be the goal. That's just the end result of being really great at every one of those processes. So be process focused. Deal with the processes. Try to learn how to see things in a manner in which you can break them down. If you can't visualize it, maybe take out some paper or, use technology to really be able to break it down and see the entirety of the entire thing. I hope this has been useful. It's at least that process is what led me to be successful in sales, because I went into sales with zero experience, but I applied what I think one of the takeaways I got from being in the armed forces, being a second lieutenant, a slow lieutenant, and an early on injured lieutenant. So I got honorably discharged, but I was there long enough to be able to see that everything is viewed through the lens of processes. And it's just about achieving each of those steps and continuing to move forward and moving forward consistently with no self-doubt. You just do it. Kind of like Master Yoda says along the lines of, there is no try, there's do and do not. You just need to do it. The little checkmark company is right on that one. Just do it and you'll get better. And if you just do it and you keep on doing it and you do it for a period of time, you're going to end up being better than the majority of the population. And once you get to that point, then for things like, money, fame, whatever it might be that you think you should be chasing, those are just byproducts. Focus on the essentials and whether it's fame or money or recognition or power, reputation, let all those things just be not the things you focus on. Those are just end results, byproducts of getting good at something, being consistent, and it'll get you ahead. And of course, if you're taking that on with with kindness, not using people, with patience, And with gratitude, gratitude being a big one, getting through life with gratitude will keep you much happier than going through life with negativity. So wire your brain for gratitude. You'll see the opportunities, and the opportunities will actually come to you as well, because people like being around positive people. They like being around winners, not whiny Winstons. The other poodle's name is Winston, by the way. You don't want to be a whiny Winston in life. Hard to have some success as a whiny Winston. Godspeed. God bless everybody. I salute you all. I got to get my foot here. Hope you get to put the pedal to the metal on a car that you love sometime this week. I had to put the pedal to the metal on the truck because car was coming down the road at a nice distance. Finally, after waiting a few minutes, got to go into the lane and cross and get into our lane on the other side. And the guy just kept going above the speed limit and never slowed down. So we put the pedal to the metal, and the back end of the truck just slid out of the way, and it was just slid out of the way, and he was gone. We would have smacked at about 60 kilometers an hour. Ooh, that's one way to live your life, but it is pretty destructive. And I wish you all more cars and more power. If you don't get more cars in the real world, come buy them right here. This is still my favorite way to race. Over on Johnny's Car Care and Reviews, we've got the 2017 Shelby GT350, the 1999 Porsche 911. Love how it drives. Love how it shifts. Everything's manual but the truck here. We've got the 1991 Toyota MR2 with the engine screaming in the back and the blow-off valve shaking the whole car. I got to take you for a ride in that this spring over on the channel. And we've got the 2025 Ford F-150 Tremor. So nice we bought it twice. We had a 24 trade-in for a 25. Amazing resale value on those F-150s. See you in the next video, everybody. Godspeed and God bless. Thank you, everyone. Blessed and grateful to have you all along for the ride. Thank you so much for all the support, all the love and friendship that you guys share, and all the kindness and excellent advice. If you haven't already done so, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with anyone that you know that likes sim racing. Take care, everybody. Have a great Saturday, and don't forget about Valentine's Day. Took the wife out to breakfast. Now it's time to call my mom.